But for that, you just drill your 5/16 guide hole, tap it with your 3/16 tap, and screws right on. I was using something else, I don't remember what I was using before I got this, and this is just so much easier. So that's really all there is to it. One thing with acrylic is you'll find as soon as it's perfectly round, you'll start getting much longer ribbons. And I always put something like this on, because acrylic is very staticky, as you can see. It doesn't just fall off you like sawdust does. It doesn't smell as good as wood does either. Oh yeah, it sticks all over everything. I haven't done that yet, so. Just a little low. Let's go up a little.
So you run fairly slow, so you don't know.
Years, I'd like to see.
I don't. This is actually run at, I think, 2,900.
Your mother didn't raise any fool, huh?
No. I like to run it, anything this size or smaller, pretty quick. I haven't ever melted one yet. Not from this part, I have from sanding. That you have to turn down pretty significantly. I like to do kind of an hourglass shape. That or, and see there, now you got your perfectly round. That or the top half shape, which if you want to look at a couple of those, there's some up here.
So is that a straight carbide or is it a negative rake?
It's just a straight carbide. The only time I use negative rake is if it's inlace acrylics, because they chip so freaking easy. And you got to be super light cuts with those. And with the traditional acrylic, you don't really have to be. I mean, you do, but not anywhere near like the inlace. I was going to cut this piece down shorter before I came in, and just haven't had time this week. Had a little bit more drive time after work than I expected, so we're going to make a longer one tonight, apparently.
Any place you like better than the others to buy one acrylic?
They're all really about the same. I get a lot of stuff from Woodturners or woodturnings.com. There's a couple that I'll have to look up afterwards that I use that I found through an app called Shop, which I use because that tells me when stuff gets to my house faster than when whoever ships it says it arrived. And that's where I got this piece. They're a little less expensive, the one that I found through Shop, and it's exactly the same stuff as I find at other places. I've started pouring my own epoxies and my own acrylics, but they aren't very good yet, so I didn't bring one of those in.
I can smell it.
Oh yeah. If you turn in your basement, your wife's not gonna like this, because she will complain the entire time, trust me.
You turn in your basement.
Yes, I turn in my basement. However, I did put one of the dust filtration systems in, and I know this isn't dust, but apparently that helps because she hasn't complained as much, or she got used to it. which either one's fine with me.
Maybe we should put a fan in front of the washing dryer, just outside. Is it the only way out there? Because if you dry cold and you might as well wash it again.
So, for those that don't use carbide, that's a round roughing edge. I don't use that as much. I like my squares because you've got two cutting edges on that then. You've got the front one that's up against the acrylic, and then you've got your side. And as long as you're not super aggressive with that side, you can cut your lines in fairly quickly and still go deeper at the same time. Forgive me, I'm not very good at doing anything left-handed, but I'm getting better at this. Oh, those are chips. Don't do that. Right now, Illuminite Clear Slow.
That I tried when we started I think it was but we had started with tests.
Mhm.
I bought a couple from you, and I was surprised because I had used acrylic before, and I was surprised how easy that turned. Without chip.
It does turn easy. It's a little bit softer than I'm used to, which is why I'm not super happy with what I'm making right now with it. The next one I'm going to use is Illuminite. Did I say Clear Slow that I'm using? That's not what it is. It's Amazing Clear. The Clear Slow is the next thing I'm going to try. There's a couple guys I follow on YouTube, and they both say that the Clear Slow works much better. However, their reviews also say that Total Boat is about the best, or Clear Diamonds, for what I would use it for.
When you're doing your own casting, is that something you gotta do with like a pressure pot thing?
Well, if you use Clear Slow, you don't technically have to use a pressure pot. But if you don't use a pressure pot, you then have to be excessively slow on your stirs, where I have a pressure pot. So I mix it with the drill because I don't want to spend an hour just mixing something. Plus, because of your bubbles, yeah. I don't worry about bubbles because I've got the pressure pot. That forces all that out. And a lot of the shape that you come up with is what it takes to correct for any chips.
So that square bar, do you want to have like a 10 or 20-degree angle?
You can. It's all done what works best for you. A lot of them, because everything I've learned about this, as far as acrylics go, I've learned from YouTube. And they all have different opinions. So my answer is whatever works best for you. I like to turn them when I'm moving forward sometimes because it keeps the chips from going in your face or underneath your face shield because they will bounce off your shirt. But the lighter the cuts,
Yeah.
the less likely you are to chip,
Yeah.
obviously, just like everything else.
Friggin' staff. You can't rush it. Not
No.
like, roughing it out with wood, you know. Yeah, you get a little pull out,
It is true if you turn it slightly. I mean, some people say to do it at a 45. I don't like that at all. I mean, I'll put just a slight angle on it, and that'll help keep it from chipping as much. But also, it's gentle and slow and take your time.
It kind of puts it at like almost a negative rate if you
Almost, yeah. Especially if you're cutting with the forward edge, which I do a lot. It does if you're using traditional tools, which is why I use carbide. And I'm not very good with traditional tools yet. I'm still learning and practicing, so I will use what I can work with the best right now. The other problem you run into with acrylic is this. You can't necessarily see where you're going unless you're tapering from that end. And I don't taper all the way from one end to the other very often. So you have to stop and clear that off before you keep going.
You're saying that's the square carbide, you ever use the radius ones?
The round ones?
The radius square.
Oh, I do, depending on the application.
You know what the R2 and R3 mean?
I assume it's the size of the radius on the,
It would make a 3-inch radius as an R3, so
Okay.
there's a little bit of a radius on a small plate.
yeah, I mean, I have. I have some at home. It really just depends on what I'm doing and what shape I'm trying to get.
Sure.
So a little fat right here.
I did, make some laptops for my wife for Christmas, use that. And, she go, I'm done, and I just, she put it on one bottle and tried to get it in the line cover, and it wouldn't fit, it's too tall. So be aware of that when you store it. So however, she's not using it anymore.
So,
Yeah.
we'll go with that shape.
Shirt you're wearing, is that like just
I think so. It's just a quarter zip my wife bought me that I don't wear. It's a little, I'm a big guy and I'm 6'2",
When you finish it, probably.
and it's just way too big for me. So I have two that I wear just to turn in. So now, when it comes to finishing, you have to turn your speeds way down. Not too much. So, what I do, I like using mesh sandpaper when I'm doing acrylic. And everything is wet sanding. With acrylic, you have to keep your temperatures down. If it gets hot, it's gonna melt and just clog up everything. So I'll start with 400. Just try and get most of the grooves out. If it gets warm, dunk it again. I also like to keep my finger on the other side of it. I'm sure you guys have been turning way longer than me and can tell how, when something gets smooth. You'll be able to tell it's not getting any more smooth. When it's not getting any more smooth, go to the next grit.
Did you ever use the micromesh pad?
I did. I'll get to that in a minute. I stopped using micro mesh pads because they're too expensive. They're $25 for a pack. I use something that's called Zona paper. You can get it on Amazon. It's about $12 for a package, which is about 8 times what I brought here tonight. The amount I brought here tonight, I can do 10 bottle stoppers with, and I just go to the next set. Cut it up into 10 little strips when I buy it, and that's it. It does go a little bit more fine than Zona paper does too. Zona paper, or I'm sorry, micro mesh. Micro mesh stops at 12,000 grit, and Zona paper goes to 22,000. So to me, it gives it a little bit better high gloss shine. And then I just hit it with some blue buffing compound. The other tip I can give you, when you're done wet sanding, with each grit, take a wet piece of paper towel and wipe all the white off of it. Yep. Otherwise, you're just carrying that grit over to the next level. And that makes a huge difference. Now we're gonna go 600, which I guess theoretically I don't have to because the Zona paper starts at 600, but I still do both. I don't know why. Probably habit. Right. Probably. But by keeping your finger on it, you can also feel the change in the temperature, so you'll know if you're getting too warm. But if you see it's not plugged at all, because I'm keeping it cool, keeping it moving, and keeping it wet. Now, like I said before, I don't usually make them this tall. People might like it. I don't know. I haven't tried. I do know I have one sister that bought 5 of them at Christmas for a decent amount, and she loves them, which is funny because I don't necessarily get along with her the best.
That's why you kept it at a nice price, right?
Absolutely.
You sold it, yeah, you sold it.
So for these, that's my Zona paper. When I start, I'll stick them in, let them sit in there for a minute. Then it'll soak up more of the water, and you won't have to come back as often. So the first one I'll probably stick back in there once, but after that, I won't have to. Now, if you follow the instructions from Zona paper, it won't tell you to hold it like this. They're going to tell you to do it like this. But I don't like getting the whole thing wet, and it just is easier for me to do this. I have never seen a groove in it, the shape of my finger, from doing it like this. Yeah. Acrylic, you can't put pressure on, you get heat. Heat melts acrylic because it's just plastic. I know, but that's okay.
You use the polish or
No. I was at the beginning, when I used micro mesh, I'd use a plastic polish afterwards, but I find that with Zona paper, it's fine enough that I don't need to. All I do is hit it with a buffing compound and a paper towel. next one and just repeat the process. Zona, Z-O-N-A. It's available on Amazon. I'm not getting paid for that endorsement. But I bought a lot of it because it works really good.
So is it a brand name then?
I assume so. And it's nicely color-coded. The only warning I will give you about it is some of the higher grits, and once you've used it a while, it's hard to tell what side's this side and what side's this side. Only one side works. So I usually set it upside down, put the next one on it, so that next time it's in the right order and facing the right direction. The pink one's pretty easy because you can see the stripes in the pink side.
How did you say it was spelled?
Z-O-N-A.
Z-O-N-A.
I think so.
If you think of it sometime, can you put a link up to what you buy?
Yeah, absolutely.
On the Facebook, so everybody can find the same, if anybody's interested.
Is it Zona or Zola? That's right.
That's what you told me last.
Yeah, and we looked it up together, so, yeah, it's Zona. Okay,
Yeah.
that's right. Zola is from Legends and Zelda, which I played 40 years ago.
You get it for Home Depot, huh?
Oh, they have it at Home Depot?
Yeah.
Never looked there.
11 by 8
Mm-hmm. How much is it there?
$11.65.
It's about the same price.
Is that Home Depot online or it's basically in the store?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so at that point, you might as well get it from Amazon.
If you're buying,
Right. Or if you know a Prime member.
or if you don't.
So there, we're halfway through that buffing or sanding already. I don't know if you can tell on the screen, but it's already, I would say, the shiny as you can. Halfway through.
Halfway through these.
And it probably took you longer. I'm not cutting your pen down because it's a gorgeous pen.
Prettiest pen I've ever seen.
There you go. That's the goal of this, right? And just like sanding, the finer grits, you don't spend quite as much time doing it. Because you are sanding with this. Now I've got a groove in there, but that's just because I screwed up when I turned it. I like acrylics. I know they are completely unnatural and don't look anything like wood. But when it comes to bottle stoppers and even some style pens, they seem to sell really well if you can get them shiny. And I forgot to rub my cereal.
Is that dishwasher safe thing?
The acrylics are, yeah. Or at least I have, and they haven't screwed up my threads. And at the higher grits, it's not going to kill you if you don't wipe off the slurry. It's just not. They're so fine at that point. Oh, I guess I was way faster than I thought.
Well, that's good, because we took way longer than I thought we would.
Once you're done with your wet sanding, just quick dry it off. And I'm sure you'll recognize this step. Take your little buffing compound, make it look a little dull. Take big towel. Just make sure you move the paper towel once in a while, instead of trying to do it in the same spot or you're just re-rubbing it on there. And don't always clip your fingernails very short. Doesn't take any pressure, because you just want it to buff it right off. Nice and shiny. Yeah, I didn't get the best right there, but